So everyone, UFC 290 is wrapped up not long ago, and I just want to discuss with you guys Bo Nickal's performance against Val Woodburn. Absolutely incredible. You know, I think it's been no secret to anyone that's a UFC fan just how much of a special talent Bo Nickal is, and he came out there and proved it. You know, at UFC 290 was an absolute whitewash, which is very typical of his performances that we've seen thus far inside the octagon. Another TKO victory for Bo Nickal. You know, the guy seems to have it all. He's just absolutely incredible. And in regards to the fight, there wasn't really much to say, was there? The fight only lasted 38 seconds, and what impressed me the most about Bo Nickal is something that we've seen in this fight from how short it was his level changes. You know, from when he's standing on his feet and how quick he changes levels to shoot him for that takedown is incredibly fast. You know, it's very, very quick. It's probably the quickest that I've seen inside the UFC in quite some time. So the way he shoots in on people just makes him extremely uncomfortable from the get-go, makes it very hard and unpredictable for his opponent. They don't really know what to expect from him, and that danger just opens up the striking as it did against Val Woodburn. Now, granted, it does remain to be seen how he's going to be traveling against a more high-ranked opponent, but I think it's time. You know, I think it's time for Bo Nickal. I think it's time for the UFC to give him a step up within competition. You know, I think demolishing these guys that are relatively unknown, he isn't really getting much out of it at this point. It is time for a big step up in competition. I would say no one outside of the top 20 should be an opponent that should be considered for Bo Nickal. He's clearly very talented and a future world champion within the middleweight division. So I think that's what's next for him. Now, who do you guys think is going to be a good opponent for him next? You know, at the top of my mind, Chris Curtis seems to be a good one. Maybe someone like Brendan Allen or Jack Hermanson. Someone that's going to give him something that's a little bit different, a little bit of a step up within competition that he's used to, because I think this will really tell us where Bo Nickal's at, because it's all well and good to go in there and demolish these unranked opponents, but let's see how he goes now against guys that are coming towards the top of the heap within the middleweight division. Let's see how he handles that pressure as he works his way up the top 20 rankings. I think that's what's next for him. I don't think it's smart to build him up and protect him as a future star. The guy's ready. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think Bo Nickal is absolutely ready for a top 20, top 10 ranked opponent? The guy makes it look easy every time he's entered the octagon so far. I mean, the future of the UFC looks incredibly bright. Bo Nickal is really going to spice up the middleweight division. You know, just think of the potential opponents. Bo Nickal versus Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker, Duplessis, the list goes on. And as we know, Khamzat Chimaev is another fantastic wrestler, and it looks like he's going to be settling into the middleweight division as well. So the middleweight division is looking more exciting than it has in quite some time. It's probably one of the best divisions within the UFC at this present stage. So we can even give him someone like Kelvin Gastelum. I don't know what Kelvin Gastelum is doing. I think he was moving up or down in weight, so I don't know how likely it is that we get to see him against Kelvin Gastelum, but that's the sort of level of opponent I'm feeling for Bo Nickal at this stage of his career. Fantastic performance. Bo Nickal, take a bow. But if you guys do like this sort of content, please feel free to hit subscribe. It really does help the channel, and I do appreciate all of your support. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. I will be dropping some other videos about UFC 290 later on today, hopefully. I'll see how I go for some time. I've got some appointments to go to, training and things like that. But thanks so much for tuning in, everyone, and I'll catch you all later.